live.
We're
Yes.
live. Welcome back.
Hey. I was back
Here,
after a
the,
month hiatus. I was in the wrong time zone. I
the
was in a way
Tan
different
Man.
time zone.
Yeah. You've
Oh,
gotten a lot of good
maybe I'll
sun
show a
there.
picture or two while we're here and stuff to see it and share a picture or two.
Sure.
But yeah, so I was away for a while. In fact, I'm still wearing a t-shirt because I came back. It was warm, but not actually. So actually a lot cooler here than it is. But in low 70s is considered cool from where I was.
Nice.
So how are you doing? I see you didn't
I'm.
get a tan, so you must have
I
been in the
did not
basement
get
the
a
whole
tan.
time.
I've been hanging in there, not doing anything outside. I'm avoiding it if I can. It's 86, 87 degrees here in
Oh,
Brooklyn. It's
whoa,
not
way hotter
bad.
than here. Way hotter.
Yeah, yeah, but it's not bad. The big thing is that all the buildings collect the heat and radiate it back. It gets like a little oven effect. It's kind of yeah, kind of bad. But we're running the AC. So, back last year during the break over Christmas, we were talking about heating your house, mining for coins, mining for Ethereum, and mining for all
Yes.
of that.
Yes, I
the
remember that.
the the market is still way down on all of those things. Ethereum, which is what I used to mine, went to proof of work. So I mean, excuse me, um,
But it's proof of concept,
proof of
proof of work,
stake.
proof
Yeah,
of stake. That's it.
proof of stake as opposed to proof of work. So you can't mine them anymore. The next best thing to mine is like Raven coin, and my little miner would bring me like $1 a day or something like that.
Oh man.
Whereas,
Hey, every
back,
dollar counts.
well, but you're using that much electricity, and then you also have to cool the house down after heating it up because of the mining. Summer's not the time to mine.
There we go.
But yeah, it's the whole market's changed. Bitcoin though is back above 30,000. I believe it broke 30,000 recently.
Oh, I haven't
It's
looked at
coming
Ralph's
back.
money. We might have a lot of
Ralph's
Ralph's
money is
money
probably
today.
still in the tank, but
Still in the tank.
it's still in the
Great to look at
tank.
Ralph's
But
money.
it's
Oh,
you're probably down to about a quarter to a half the value, probably
man.
closer to a quarter. But then again, it's not real money. It's all play money. So there we go. But
Indeed.
I'm sorry, sweet. You've been gone a while. Welcome back.
Yes.
A lot of things have happened since you've been gone.
Yes. What have I missed since I've been
What have you
gone?
missed
Sounds like a
since you?
song. Hey, that is a 70s
It
song
is a
there, you
song.
know.
Yeah.
It is a song. Actually, my old band, that's how we used to like start our shows with that. And I heard it was in Guardians of the Galaxy right now, so yeah,
Ah,
we're calling out stuff without I
yeah.
sort of missed that. I did catch Indiana Jones while I was out there.
Did you? Okay.
I'm going to say I liked it a lot. Please go see it, because it was good. I like it. Please go
I
see it.
did. I've not seen that.
I highly recommend it.
We didn't see
And
Guardians
what
either.
I'm finding out is with our good old internet world of that we're in, there used to be a time when something like that would be like months later before something would show up in some of these other countries or
Right.
everything else. Pretty much whatever's happening when there's a release for something, everything else, it's all
It's
happening right
global.
off the bat. What I'd like to say is because I was in the country I was in was in the Philippines. So, and I think I said that my company gives me access through my phone for like data for what's going on. And this particular perk is a really nice one because essentially I don't really have to pay to bring it anywhere in the world. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily I'm going to get the best service where I go, but I get service. More importantly, I get internet, and more importantly, I don't get like suddenly a bill that says, "You just entered the UK and you forgot to turn on your data bill. Here's $100 bill just because you decided to hit the Uber button for 2 seconds and then remembered to turn it off." Because that's what
Right.
happened to me with AT&T at one time. Is we went, my mom turned on and called for an Uber. And she was on my plan. I forgot that she was on my plan. And all of
Right.
a sudden, I saw like, oh, there's a $400 bill coming at you. I was like, what happened? They were just trying to go Uber to go to where we were, and just because they turned on the data, it decided to like suck in the entire map of, I don't know, the entire UK, brought
Right.
it in, and gobs of data, and it's like for 1 gig you had to pay $10. So how much the hell data? And of course, these kind of phones can take now nearly a
Yeah. The
terabyte of data.
5G, they can pull it
They
fast
can
too.
pull it really fast. So in no time, as soon as I left her at where she was, and then it came over there. It was like $400 bill showed up in the blade. I couldn't fight it because technically speaking, that's the terms of service.
That's
You
right.
had to basically
Yeah.
turn it off, right? So then we said, let's get her to $10 service. You get limited data. You have the roaming, but more importantly, the app will now tell you you've hit your roaming limit. You're done.
Right.
But when you don't touch anything, that's the default, which is
Yeah.
horrible. Why did it default that way? Well, now a lot of these systems will default with that off. It'll tell
Well,
you don't have a service. You're going to have to get something.
yeah. One thing that I
Mine
saw
didn't.
recently. One thing
Mine
that I
didn't.
saw recently. Speaking of Uber in another country, did you see
Yes.
about the couple that got an Uber and it cost them $29,000 for an
Yikes.
Uber?
Oh,
It,
yikes. I heard
because
about it,
it
but
was supposed to be, yeah, it was supposed to be 29,000 pesos
oh,
instead of, and there was a glitch in the
in the app.
uh, in the app,
Oh, no.
and so they were charged dollars instead of pesos. And Uber is saying that it's the bank that should handle it, and the bank is saying that it's Uber that should handle it. And
Oh, no.
currently they're just
I,
stuck. So
yikes. Yikes. I'm glad that didn't happen. So I didn't get a chance to use Uber where I was going. Apparently, there was issues over there, but I didn't have to.
mhm.
So that was one thing. But to be sure, when I approach an area, then I'll get a little email notification. Welcome to this country. Your plan allows you to have unlimited data under these circumstances, right?
Very
So
nice.
I went. Next thing you know, I was in Korea. Oop, it turned on, no
Hmm.
problem. I'm in the airplane. So it's a lot of these airplanes now, and the Asian ones at least, have in flight, not Wi-Fi, in flight cellular service. So like
Oh,
5G
interesting.
LTE service turns on in
Right,
flight. So it's like, what's the difference between that and Wi-Fi? There, it turns on. So essentially, you can use your phone and your text, but there's no data. If you want data, you connect to the Wi-Fi and pay them separately.
right.
So it's like, well, that's actually really interesting. So I can suddenly, because all of a sudden I was getting text messages like, how did that happen? I didn't turn on the data or anything else. And I was like, so, and I thought it was just one of the airlines. It turns out a lot of them have this, especially on those long
The
routes
long flights.
and
Yeah,
those long flights. So that was very interesting. So here we get, and now I'm going again from place to place, and I'm seeing this service going on. Of course, I'm finding out the difference. In the countries like in the Philippines, they reserve like the high 5G speed for those that pay their premium service. So everybody else, including those visitors that have a deal with us, will only get like the minimum or the LTE, I guess, what would be 4G, 3G ish
right.
size of data. So yeah, sure, you can get unlimited data. We're just gonna give you
You're just gonna suck it through a straw.
gonna suck it through a straw, and you're just gonna be waiting and
Yes,
watching that
yes.
spinner go and the spinner go. And it's like some apps are quick, like a Twitter app will go and seem to update right away. The images might take forever, but otherwise the app goes.
Right.
Something like maybe just like an MSN page for whatever reason will scroll and scroll and scroll, and all I can think of is because it's throwing ads in there all over, and those ads have hefty videos. So basically, you're killing your entire site. Warning MSN: if you want your stuff to be quickly visible, you may want to optimize that. Other web pages like the Google ones or the Yahoo ones are fast, or like
Yeah.
even YouTube was
It
amazingly
all
fast.
depends on the order in which things are loaded. I mean, really, it does. And see what people don't test anymore. I mean, we used to test it. We used to have to test on different bandwidths because we were having to worry about people with modems. And you would have to worry about how big is that, and how long will it take for the first image to load. um, do you remember back, gosh, I don't even know if they still do it or not, but you could give it a low-fi image and a hi-fi
You
image.
can still do that now
You could
on
still do that.
Yahoo. You can still do that now. In fact, while I was there, that was one of the things that they were mucking around with, which is like how your image speeds are going. Well, I'm finding out, of course, in those kind of countries, the
Yeah,
reason why there's all these laws and regulations is they're allowed to sort of go to those places where we say do not go there, even if you can VPN your way around it. I'm going to tell you. Oh, I have a story about that. Even if you can VPN your way around it, you don't necessarily want to
right.
go to those places, right? But over there, that's how they live, and they're able to watch sometimes the latest movies for certain things. And then they'll say, well, you can only watch it lo-fi. And by the way, when they mean lo-fi, it means someone had a camera literally on the film coming in there. It's like I'm like, I don't think I should. I feel dirty just watching this on the screen here. Please turn that off. I don't want to see it. But it's sort of like they'll have that ability and that power for the stuff, but then they can also choose the speed they want. Here's an interesting thing. Like for example, Disney Plus over there, you have to
Yes.
get it separate, right? Even though they'll show pretty much the same shows, I have a Disney Plus subscription. I can't use it there, right? It
Oh,
wants me to have a Philippine telephone number to use it there.
gotcha.
Well, of course I don't have one. And then why would I have to sign up separately to be able to see exactly the same shows anyway? Because according to the list, it's the same shows. But then actually, yeah, the same top billing shows, but when you go under the covers, then their differences come
Then they're
in
different.
from area to area. Well, this is why Disney said, "Oh, we didn't do as well in certain services in certain countries," and then Disney gets bashed. Well, how well did you do in America? Oh, they did great, but we care about the other people. Well, you guys are being a little bit too picky, right? If folks from India doesn't like it anymore because you're not showing the cricket games, why are you punishing the Americans and taking away shows from the Americans
Right.
just because of that? That's not fair, right? So little sometimes it's little things like that. So I tried things like different things. It's like, well,
Hmm.
I could turn on a VPN and say I'm in the
Yes.
United States and watch Disney Plus. That worked, right? Then I go to a specific service, and they have different services that are out there. And by the way, it's pretty much a universal thing that ISPs suck wherever you go. They all have sucky service. They could have great speeds and all that stuff, but don't dealing with customer service is always an issue. Didn't matter who it is. That was where our issue there. It took us like quite a bit of time before we got all set up. Once we got set up, everything's beautiful fast. So at this building where I was at, with one of the services up at the top of the building in the game room, I put on a VPN. I was able to watch Avatar when it came out, and we were able to see it, no problem. Come down to my condo area where we decided to turn on the service, a fast one, for our place because you know we could use it. I was doing other things. Let's
Right.
go ahead and turn it on. All of a sudden, turn on the VPN, and only that straw was going on. Wait a minute.
Hmm.
How come upstairs the VPN it didn't give a hoot, but downstairs here it did? And I said, "Oh, what's your VPN?" McAfee. Oh, I think they don't like him. They know what VPNs you're using. I said, hold on a second. Isn't VPN supposed to block you from certain stuff?
Hmm.
Turns out, and I'm going to warn everybody right now, that so-called VPN thing that they said hides you from people
Right.
doesn't. They know what you're using. It's like, well, how do you know? It's like, well, okay. They said, so I said, what are you guys doing to get around it? Oh, we just download Opera. Okay, so by the way, I have Opera on not this machine, but I have Opera downloaded. And Opera comes with, what does it come with? Comes with a VPN built in. Turn that sucker on. That worked. Well, it's not blocking that. Why is it block McAfee and giving me a straw? And the Opera, it's only cutting it in like maybe a quarter of its speed. I'm
Right.
still connecting through the United States because turns out the folks that did that work were smart enough to say boo-hoo to VPN for McAfee, but we're not apparently didn't have budget to go and finish the job and take care of VPNs across the board. All right, so that's fine and well, but it does mean they know what people know how to tell a VPN how it is, who's got it. Because on, by the way, so I use Opera again. Turn on
Hmm.
VPN. All right, let's try to connect now to Paramount Plus and some of the other ones, and then or like Amazon. And you're trying to use it, and right away they say, "Oh, if you want to use this software, you can't use a VPN. It knows you're on a VPN, and it doesn't even matter how you're getting to me. You better turn off your VPN completely." Well, I can't get to you without the
Unless.
VPN. You will know I'm
Right.
in the Philippines. I want to get to you with my VPN that says I'm in America. Well, but then catch 22. I sense you're in the VPN software. I don't know how you're using it, but I'm just cutting you off dead. Finito. How do I get past here? I would have to VM into an Azure. By the way, that was
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I VPN'd into that from the Azure on the stuff, and it had no idea because the Azure has its IP address, and I used US West,
Yeah.
on my Azure.
Azure Virtual Desktop. You know.
Solved, right?
Yeah.
So that solved clearly that issue. Of course, I have that. I had to use my MSDN.
Yeah.
That had to work, right, to make that work.
Well,
But
and you can also watch your movie through that though.
yes, I did. So I was able to do that. I mean, but again, that's painful,
It
messy,
is.
just to watch something. And it's like mostly to catch up with episodes. The new Star Trek one, as an example. All right. So okay, great and well. So here what are we discovering these days?
Well,
We're discovering that VPNs, yes, they're great. They probably keep ads out and do all that stuff. But will they really help you maybe circumvent or get around it? Not necessarily.
Yeah,
They
what
know
they'll
what you're
do,
doing. Does it block you? Not
they know that you're
necessarily.
doing something. I think
Yes.
I want to make a clear. They don't know what you're doing, but they know that you're doing something.
Yes.
And
That's
so
true.
they know that you're going through a VPN. They don't know what traffic is, but they say they assume, they make some assumptions about the
Yes.
traffic that you're sending. And so
Exactly.
your McAfee might actually have worked with um, with Amazon, but again, probably not, because the way the VPN works is there's a man in the middle, right?
Yes.
There is a bank of servers that are traffic that are pushing that traffic forward, and
Yes.
the only way kind of to get around that, and I don't know, does Opera use Tor, the Onion router?
That's a good question. Yeah, so you may want if I want to follow that up though. Download the Opera. By the way, there's two different Opera browsers over here. There's a DX one. There's one for gamers apparently, where you can do
Yes.
Twitch and all kinds of other stuff. It's actually optimized for gamers. Aha, we call it. So there's that one optimized for gamers. All right. So and by the way, I will highly recommend it for speed to be sure. And so we did a speed test for a lot of these things while I was. That was part of the thing that I started learn. Let's say not relearning about, more like uh, getting reacquainted with is really the case of this the different speed test tools over here. So we're seeing how Opera was doing compared to Edge, compared to the other ones on certain things that we was doing, and it tends to be different. Opera was definitely optimized for certain things.
Yes.
Was it able to do certain things when I went to certain pages? It's sort of like it was clunky and all that stuff. Yeah, and all that stuff. It doesn't have quite the same concept of the profiles and all that stuff. It's similar, which I'm used to in Verge. So there are differences why I would still continue using Edge. But you know, it just said that okay, look, this is actually viable. It's actually viable to have another type of browser and get going. Oh,
Yep.
easy to join the screen.
And
There we go.
here's Opera.
Opera One.
See,
That's new. Opera One
that's
just came out.
yeah. And I've got Opera, I've got Brave. I've got a browser. I've got a browser
Oh yes, they were
problem.
talking about this with
Okay.
they were going to bring in AI support onto Opera. There it is.
Brave is nice. So I've got a browser problem I use a lot. So here's Otter. Here's Yandex. Yandex is
Smithmier.
Yandex is probably, or might be, one that you've heard of down there as well, because it's got a lot of ties into Asian markets.
Right.
You know, Russian, Slavic nations. You know, the entire Asian continent.
Got it.
AliExpress is really big in it. But yeah, no, Opera's good, and VPN right there, front and center, right?
Yep. It's front and
So
center, and it actually works pretty well. You can tell it where you want the VPN to work with. It's off the bat now. That's the one thing that Edge and Chrome, you need the add-ins to essentially make a lot of this stuff
to
happen.
turn the
The,
VPNs on.
these in these cases, they're all in place, ready to go. That's the difference,
Yes.
right? And then, of course, there's the concept of the VPN that runs on the whole machine as opposed to just one area. Because in a lot of cases, you're going to need apps, you're going to need other things outside of the browser to make it happen. So that's the one thing the Opera thing can't do, right? But the Opera for
Well, okay.
gaming, though, does. The Opera for gaming gives you a paid version that if you pay, you can take their piece and now apply it to your whole machine, just like you if you bought McAfee or something else. So I
And
almost
I'm
did that.
sorry. Yeah, I did not. Here, let me share again real fast. So again, I'm sorry. This Opera is one that I just have.
Aha.
And it updated. This is Opera One,
Yep.
and with Opera One, there is the try device wide VPN,
Aha.
which you can try for free, and that's
You
what
can
you're
try for
talking
free.
about there.
Yes, that's
So
exactly what I'm talking about. Yes.
yeah, so you can have the VPN for this session or for these sessions, the session
Exactly.
probably that you're on, or you can unlock it and do it for your entire
Now,
machine. So that
I already have the one for the McAfee, so I technically speaking don't need it, right?
right.
However, because I saw that McAfee itself was being kiboshed on purpose, so I'd
Yes.
probably get it if I take a travel again, maybe back to the Philippines again, and just get it
Mhm.
for the whole system, so I don't have to worry about it.
So,
But yeah,
and again, it's this more than 60 VPN locations worldwide. Those locations,
that
that
makes a
IP
difference,
bank is
right?
what's giving you that out. And that's the
Yes.
difference between the onion router, right? Tor, the onion router is that every person that is connected to it is basically one of those VPN servers,
Yes. I'm going to
right?
say
So you
that
split the
perhaps
traffic a
the
bit.
Opera one had more routers than McAfee is perhaps because of the specific area in McAfee was going to that little string. But I'm thinking though that they were calling out McAfee specifically. Again,
Yes,
because they were offering a different yeah, so that particular company was offering an antivirus of a different sort as a service. They're probably like, oh well, in order for us to do that, we're going to have to block or they're not allowed to block anyone. However, there's no rule that says they can't squeeze the heck out of them,
throttle them. Yes,
throttle them
yes.
exactly.
There's no reason that they can't
That was a
um,
law that they were trying to
make their
pass in the
life
United States to say that these companies, ISPs, are not allowed to throttle people in favor of someone else, right? It's
based
like
on
if I
certain, yeah,
based on certain things, like, well, I want to do something here and that AT&T will want you to use their direct TV stuff and not throttle
yes,
those, but we will throttle you too because that's our competitor or whatever, and everything else.
yes,
That's what these laws are talking about
true.
over here. And let's just
Mhm.
say I've seen what happens in other countries when there is no law, they can do whatever they want. You're stuck with the
It
ISP.
ain't
You got
pretty.
to deal with it. It ain't pretty,
It ain't pretty.
not at
Yeah,
all.
no, the net neutrality law. Yeah, that's been a bit, but for sure. So
Oh man,
what else has gone on? I mean, we're we're 25 minutes in.
25
We're
minutes
doing a
in.
good show. We're having a lot of fun.
Wanted to show you something over here on my
Yeah, yeah.
system. First, I'm going to see if this actually works over here, and I'm going to see if this will actually work.
While you're doing that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal it back real fast
Uh-huh.
while you're checking, and I want to show you something that I've been playing with Chat GPT.
Yes, go for it.
So one thing that's fun that did you know that you can ask it to draw for you? Now,
Yes.
Chat GPT is not going to draw anything because it's text based, right?
Yes.
But what I like to do is say, so draw a plant UML, which plant UML, if you don't know about it, it's a unified markup language. It is
Mhm.
plant is it's a way of drawing diagrams, okay,
Yes.
through XML. So draw me a plant UML diagram of the Brady Bunch. Let me see if it knows anything about that. Oh, there we go. So
Oh, it did the UML, the code.
what it's doing is, if we read up at the top, it says, look, I'm unable to draw images directly. However, I can help you understand how to create a plant UML diagram. All right.
Hmm.
So plant UML, if I come over here and I drop that into, this is plant text.
Check it out.
There we go.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's too cute.
How is that? How is that?
That is
So
great.
it's a way of creating diagrams. It will create the diagrams for you, and then you can render them in a separate engine. So
Right.
down
That
there.
is nice. Look at that. I mean, we could do other kinds of just any kind of UML basically from that.
That's right. Yes. And when you ask it, you just have to tell it the form that you want it to be rendered in. So draw IO is another common diagramming
Yep.
tool, and it has an XML based. I found that the Plant UML does a better job. It does a better job with Plant UML than it does with Draw IO. I do not know if it's what Chat GPT actually uh, was trained on, but it doesn't always get these correct either. Occasionally you'll have to do some, it does some has some issues with you reusing names, but it does a pretty spiffy job. All right, back to you.
Really cool. Very cool. So, what else did I do over there? So I was explaining like on the case of the speed for a lot of these things. So just waiting and hang out. So every essentially when I left the building area and I'm not on Wi-Fi, things get super slow. So it's like the phone on 4G or in 3G. It feels like, right? So sometimes things will come fast. Emails came fast and furious, you know, which I wish they didn't, but they would do it. You get the notification, and you'd have to wait a while sometimes for a big email to show up and everything else. So the thing that I couldn't do though is that I need to like upload something fast. The one thing
Right.
for sure, upload speeds, that's an issue. So I'd have to wait. So I had to go and do things more old fashioned. All right. And the good old fashioned thing that we did over here was the good old GoPro. Remember the GoPros and stuff?
Yes, yes.
So we've seen the folks they have sometimes we see we've seen people traveling with satellite phones and see people uploading as they're going along. It's like, wow, that's really paying a lot of money for stuff. Let me just put stuff and then put it in the little SIM cardy thingy to go
Yep.
take it out, copy paste it, get back to the hotel, not hotel, back to the condo, put the thing in
These
there and
little
upload it.
guys,
Yes.
they hold an amazing amount of stuff.
And
I mean, it's
they used to
crazy.
be expensive. They're super cheap now. So another thing I'm finding out is things over there are a lot cheaper. I'll give you an idea. Right now, I think I'm paying $20 a month for Netflix for like two
Wow. Yeah.
accesses or something.
Yeah.
Over there, Netflix is it's like, what was it? Equivalent to around $2
Ah.
for the same service. I said, wait a minute, why is it cheaper over there? Well, the programming is different. So I went and looked. You have all the same top stuff. What's
Right.
different? It's like maybe some of the nuances you're looking at. But do they have all the programs I'm following? Yes. Maybe I should VPN to the Philippines to get that instead, and get the cheaper
Yeah.
toothpaste. I'm
Well,
gonna
it's
pay the
like
$2 and put my deposit to my brother-in-law over there and take care of that. What?
it's
Wait a
it's
minute.
like buying drugs. It's like buying drugs in Canada.
I guess so. It's
Fill a
like instead of
prescription.
paying the prescription extras, you're getting the same thing,
Right.
from that area. So I said, okay, well, what about other things like OneDrive and all that stuff? They work. So let me share my screen over here. I got to show Raquel this one because this is really would be in Raquel's corner. Raquel, I'm not sure if you've seen this yet. Have you seen my share of this stuff over here? Oh wait, let me share again. One moment, please. But now I need to share.
With audio,
I have to share with audio. Here we go.
it
And let's
looked
do
like
this again.
that looked like you were underwater.
So yes, absolutely. So let me go ahead and play this here for a second. All right, I'm going to fast forward a little bit and see they're pointing over here. Let's see if we can see first anybody that we're looking at. Okay, so by the way, Raquel, up in the upper right-hand corner is your 7-year-old sister swimming
Oh my goodness.
underwater, and she's snorkeling.
Oh,
The
snorkeling.
7-year-old is snorkeling, and she's pointing out over here. Well, the guy the guy from the boat that's watching over here. Wait a minute! Look, who's that I found?
You found Nemo.
Raquel, look! I found him.
Nemo!
Wait a minute! Hold on a second. Let's go look. No, there he is. That's Nemo and Dad. Dad, Mom. Hold on a second. We're so excited. And by the way, there's Dory down there. There's Dory.
Dory!
There's
And
Dory.
Dory's mom and dad over there as well, down at the bottom. There they are. See him? See him? Let's go back and take a look at Nemo again. Hold on a second. Where is he, Nemo? Come on. Here we go. There they are. Can you imagine though? These fish are probably like, you're sticking a thing in my face, guy, human. This thing
There we
sticking in my
go.
face. Where's a shark when you need him? Nemo's looking at me. He's like, "Where's my shark prints?" But I look at this and I remember the movie, and I'm like, God, they really were freaking accurate when they were putting this stuff together. Because that looks like the top view of the area. By the way, I have sea urchins in here and all this other fish. And we're listening to, by the way, the sounds of handheld GoPro and underwater. And we're pretty close to the top of the water over here. We're in
Yeah.
open water. It gets super, super deep on the edge. The 7-year-old is swimming like, she's like Ariel. And here I am making sure I don't hit any jellyfish. Because, by the way, they're jellyfish. And yeah, those are sea urchins. Touch them and same
Bad
effect.
things.
Right? So this is from my adventure. And yes, this is where I not only accumulated sun, but I accumulated a way to make all dizzy watching. We're going to get all dizzy watching this and stuff. Let me go ahead and pause this over here. But I just wanted to share that particular
Very
adventure over there
cool.
and say, yes, Raquel, I did find Nemo. Had to tell Raquel.
Yay,
Nemo
Nemo.
It's like Raquel,
Debbie.
and then you can say
And
your little
Dory.
sister found Nemo. Yeah, and Dory. So
Yeah.
yeah, I remember Raquel was little when we were watching those shows. She would laugh and laugh when they had the Jacques Cousteau visits Nemo sort of thing. But we thought that was neat, and the fact that in basically the same day upload it and you're done, ready to go. There's editing abilities on the GoPro where you can do stuff on the website for GoPro. You can do stuff over here because I have this. I'd say Raquel, I gave you a share link for this one. You can take it now, and then you could make like an anime version of what happens when you find Nemo, and basically the other side is the person with the GoPro, and then Nemo going like what the blah, 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 blah. I'm just giving her an idea for a show right off the bat. Like I
For
said,
sure.
where's a shark where you need one? There were no sharks, but there were jellyfish though. And by the way, jellyfish, yeah, they stink. They get you. It's like going in there. Gotta watch your head and stuff. So they had underwater caves and a whole bunch of other things that were going on. It is actually, ooh, that stuff is out there. So by the way, so yes, we're in the cloud and we're doing all this stuff, but remember, there's still a world out there.
Well, you
Go out
mentioned,
there.
and I'm sorry, you mentioned, AI, or you mentioned, drawing a picture in anime form. Here,
Yes.
I'm gonna have to share real fast
Aha!
and let's do draw
You're about to take Raquel's job away.
Nemo.
Go.
I'm gonna draw Nemo, and let's see if it will respond. I'll try to create that. It's generating an image. Da da da. So this is the Bing chat.
Yes.
And so look, it did that. It was made by Bing Image Creator. If I go over to Image Creator directly, I can do fun things like draw Nemo as anime.
Oop, that anime.
Oh, yep. It would help if I spelled it correctly. Although, let's see what
Maybe.
it does if it doesn't.
That's right.
I don't. There we go. Huh?
Raquel, what do you think?
Am I doing good?
Is that anime-ish?
Oh goodness, it's
Raquel's
kind of
like,
cursed.
It's kind of cursed.
It's a
yeah.
little cursed.
I could do it as 8-bit.
8-bit, I think I would appreciate that. That would be keeping
Here
Nemo's
we go.
soul alive.
There's some 8-bit Nemo.
There we go.
That one's good. I don't know what happened to the bottom left, but he's working on it.
And 8-bit animation. I don't know if it'll do an animation. Oh, especially if I don't spell it correctly. It didn't really care that I misspelled anime before,
That's
so
true.
maybe it won't care if it.
Maybe it auto-corrected it for you.
Yeah, it did. It did not though.
Well, it made it
do an
animation. It added animation effects like the bubbles.
Yeah, put something extra.
It did add some extra. So anyway, the main thing is that when you're doing these things, you can add details, right? You can let's say as an animation, Neo swimming through a red hoop.
Okay.
If it will add a red hoop for it to swim through. Still 8-bit. Because I'm with you.
There's a red hoop.
Yeah, that's okay-ish.
Hey, that's almost a logo.
Jumping through a red hoop while being followed by a shark in 8-bit. I think the 8-bit's just a qualifier that sits on top. So I don't think it's making it any harder. But
it's called prompt engineering. It's a science
prompt engineering. Yes,
Yep.
yes.
It's how to
there
do
we go.
it.
Oh wow.
Sort of, yeah. That's kind of a Nemo-y shark. I don't know.
Nemo the shark.
Sharkified Nemo.
Nemo was getting tired of all the humans trying to get him.
Exactly. Or finding him. It's like, hey, I found Nemo. And like, get out. Did you see how they were like in my video? How they were wiggling? They're like, get out. Hey, we're undressed over here. Peeping Tom.
Let's
Peeping
do it
Ralph.
in anime. Although, because I will
Oh,
say
wait,
that
wait.
that
What's
is
that?
cursed.
It said a cat wearing a disco outfit standing underneath a disco ball. Did you see that, Raquel?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, check that out.
Okay, that's really
There
cool.
we go. So
That's actually pretty
that
cool.
That was not bad. That's not a. So Nemo is I lost kind of Nemo.
Yikes!
A little bit.
But that's a very sophisticated drawing to do in just a short time.
Isn't it interesting?
It does have a database somehow of some sort of other person's art.
It was able to somehow overlay all that stuff quickly,
right?
In no time.
Very
Look at that.
quickly.
It's got a background for the ocean. It's got the hoop. It's got the shark. It's got the shark dressed. It's got the human. It's got the water effect. Look at that. And what was that? Like literally in less than half a minute.
Draw Nemo wearing a cowboy hat. There we go. A cowboy riding a horse in space watercolor. Ooh, watercolor. I like watercolor too.
Draw Nemo wearing a cowboy hat.
There we go. It's kind of goofy.
It is kind of goofy. But that's still, I'm sorry, that is pretty cool. By the way, this where you're looking at Image Creator.
Image Creator.
Dolly.
So, but this one is, based on the Bing thing. So the Chat GPT is all text based. This one is specific for doing pictures. They've got some that will do video morphs and others that will, you can train on a voice and they will speak in that voice. There are a lot of different AI engines out there. It's really kind of cool.
I know. Every time, what I'm seeing on a daily basis is like somebody telling me about 50 new AI engines that people are putting together. It's almost becoming it's more ubiquitous than apps. When apps were coming out, and there's like an app for everything and all kinds of apps coming out, it's coming out now like that. So, hey, more power to you, cloud folks, coming out with more stuff.
The trick
ways for our robot masters to rule us. How about it?
Are not nice, benevolent, wonderful, wonderful robot masters.
All hail them.
No, all hail them. It really comes down now to the way that you stack them, right? We're no longer in that situation where it's can this be done? It's now come down to how do we put these pieces that we can do together to build something that's real, something that actually has actions.
That has action, it has impact, or that has value, or that has relevance.
Absolutely.
Right? Oh, Raquel's has a question. She has her hand up. You have a question, Raquel?
I just wanted to let you guys know that there is a wonderful thing that I've been seeing all over YouTube. It's like different voices, like AI, SpongeBob sings, whatever song, or Mr. Krabs or Plankton. I saw one that was Mr. Krabs singing "Money" by Pink Floyd. It was absolutely beautiful and perfect. It was incredible. I mean, even
too bad we can't play that music here without getting docked for monetization. But I'm sorry, that is really cool. You know what? That's how I believe they're bringing John Lennon back to life, singing one of his actual songs that he wrote.
They do that, and Michael Jackson as well. So there's a lot of AI songs out there. Some of them are really, really good. Some of them, it seems like they don't have the best AI model or something to work with, but I'm telling you, the ones I've heard, they use the same cadence, frequency of the original voice, and it sounds so good as like the AI voice. It's amazing.
Yes. And see, so at that point, it becomes a question for lawyers to get involved to determine if let's say that you do an album.
You know why the writers are on strike? That's
yeah.
Jeez.
No, well, the writers are on. Yeah, well, did we talk about that? Have we talked about why the writers are on strike? Because it's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
They're on strike because of residuals. Did you know that? So every time a television program was shown and ads were shown on that television program, the person who wrote it would get residuals. They would get paid for it. Now, if you're streaming it through Netflix, you're not showing ads. And so there are no residuals. And so they're not getting paid. Although the main company is getting paid instead. So,
that's right.
But yeah, anyway.
There's that aspect, but they also in them they're talking about like, well, we know AI is coming and we want that stuff written into the new agreements, because if an AI creates if you prompt an AI, write a story as in the format of Gene Roddenberry or something, if Gene Roddenberry were to write a show about cooking mushrooms, what would it look like? It was like, well, does the Roddenberry Foundation now get something out of that?
Get paid out
because after all, it was his combined expertise that put that together through your AI.
If I create an album called something horrible like Dead Singers, and I train AI models that and they're all my original songs, but I have John Lennon and Tupac and all of these different artists singing my songs, and I make it an album and I sell it, who gets paid?
That's right. And hey, but they're dead. But then those trusts and those foundations are alive, and they're, let's just say, strong as far as keeping their brand protected.
Or even if they're not dead, let's pick current artists. What if I did a Taylor Swift album of my own songs? Taylor Swift singing Larry Smithmier's AI generated songs.
There was an artist that actually said that said, you can use my voice singing your song. Show it to me. If I like it, I'll pick you up or something like that. I'll actually do your song. I can't remember which artist actually said that, but that actually was interesting.
There's some that have
some that said, don't you dare, otherwise I'll take you. Right.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. And again, we're now beyond talking about can we, and we're talking about should we. And that's how far AI has traveled within the last 6 months.
When, how, to what end? Yes.
And Raquel, your hand is still up, or is it a new question?
Bring the hand out.
Sorry,
we're in Teams over here, so we get to see the hand up, the hand down.
In really Google cool. Meets, it takes it down.
The new Teams actually looks pretty cool for that. In fact, I'm trying to see what happened. I think my particular organization does not yet allow for avatars. Which is, it has the new teams. I have all the views and everything else, but there's a concept of avatars which your domain, your tenant has to allow, because some companies are like, well, we don't want people to be avatars. We want people to be people. We're going to post the pictures. We want that controlled. But some will like Microsoft, they let people use avatars for their stuff. The caveat over there is you can't make an avatar that's going to be probably Nemo, with a shark face, with whiskers as you. That's not going to be allowed. It will take you and then avatarish, that cartoony sort of 3D metaverse version of you. That sort of stuff. Speaking of metaverse, what else is going on? All those other
metaverse.
Speaking of metaverse, somebody's going to try to. I think the Birdman is now. That's happened to me, by the way. While I was away, the Birdman did whatever he was doing. Apparently, he didn't pay his Google bill. Is the only thing I can think of, and things just went whack. All of a sudden, I was trying to do stuff, and things were so whack I couldn't post things. Weird things were going on, and it was like saying, "Are you being blocked?" And it's like people that were subscribers were still hitting limits and all this other stuff. It's like, well, hold on a second. What's going on? You just basically are not, you didn't challenge the platform. You just made things really hard. And in the midst of all that, it's like, is it that easy for someone to go in and just push a button, even if you're in charge, and just break something that big? It turns out the answer is yes. It turns out, it doesn't matter how big something is. Somebody can go in and just smack it, right? And then so his pal on the other side, the Mr. Instagram, Mr. You know what, decides to come up with their own thing. And I'm hearing that all the people that they let go from the one company is now with that company potentially. And now someone's mad that, oh, you have people from my company. The ones that you said, oh yeah, go get a job somewhere else. They did. You can't get mad at them anymore. Did you sign him off? No, you didn't. You're just getting mad now. And because there was other companies that have been trying to do what Twitter has been doing,
right,
to whatever degrees of success that they're getting. And it's really hard because I remember when it started, and even I thought, it's just another one of those, just going to take forever to go. It just grew on its own for a lot of stuff. Hey, you made yourself an avatar. See?
I'm an avatar now.
You saw the avatar because you are in the domain that allows it. The M365 domain that we have, you're in there. I'm coming in from the outside, so I'm not allowed to use an avatar. But check it out. Hey, it took some of your top away a little bit.
It took some of my hair, yes, and it's not, the lip sync is, it's okay.
I like the jacket thing you got there.
The jacket's going. I rock the jacket. Yeah.
You rock the jacket over there, Raquel. You can. Well, actually, Raquel's probably coming in from the outside too, so she probably can't do that as well. You don't see the avatar choice, right? That's actually cool.
Because you mentioned it.
I promised to come in from the domain next time to see what avatar that I can create, see what I can do.
Yes.
We got to give Raquel an M365 account to get in there too.
That was just a quick avatar, that was not necessarily my best work.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to do something about that.
Yeah, we got to work on that guy. We got to work on him
for sure.
So that was interesting. Hey, we were able to cover lots at a time. Let's go see what's going on over here. I'm still coming in. I still have some stuff to do for folks for today. What is the day today?
Today is the 7th. 7/7. All right. So we will
new folks to bring into the Power Platform AI world. I got to take care of them this afternoon.
Let's go run away, and great to have you back, Ralph, and Raquel.
Great to be back. We look forward to it.
See you next week.
See you next week, and let's see if we can get a guest pretty soon over here. We're ready to do guests again.
Maybe we need an AI guest.
Maybe arranged.
We'll see what we can do. All right.
Hey, we remember a standing invite for Raquel's team to come over and tell us about what they're doing on the cloud. So as soon as you guys can work that out on a date, we want you guys to come over, and we promise not to AI you, at least not while you're watching. All righty. Talk to you soon.
Bye.